Okay guys, so I got a Briggs & Stratton starter here, and most starters are all the same, pretty much anyway. They have brushes, they have an armature, etc. So you're going to start off with the back of your starter, and again, don't pay no mind to the style of the starter, because what we're doing is for any starter. So the starter's not working and we're going to clean it before we end up buying a new one. We can sometimes clean it and we can sometimes clip brushes, and I'll show you that as we go. So pull off the two bolts in the back that go clear through to the bottom of the starter housing, and separate the housing with the armature from the cone. Okay, so we pulled off the bolts. Now this might be kind of tough to get it off. If you know that you only have 2 or 4 or whatever's there, it'd be more than 2, or 2 or more, I mean, not 1. Then go ahead and just tap it this direction, and remember this armature is up against a bunch of magnets, so it's going to try to hold it on there. So just give it a good yank. Okay, so just as we suspected, it's really dirty. Not just dirty, but yeah, it looks like it was soaked in water. So we're going to clean all this up right now with a wire brush. The magnets in here, there's not a whole lot that you can do with them other than just try to, I mean, you can't scrape them and scratch them. I'm going to go ahead and run this little wire wheel down real slightly, real slowly, and then just wipe it out real good. And your brushes are down in there. You can see the brushes. Sometimes you can flip those around. I don't know if I can get one out to show you. Let me see if I can pull the back off. Okay, so here's the brushes, and like I said, sometimes you can flip these around. These particular ones have these little tits there on the end, so you can't, but when they're real bad, a lot of them you can flip around. So all we're going to do here is just clean this up, and then here's a trick to getting all these in at once. Push it back, flip it over, and just shove a paper clip through that hole right there and hold it there. 4 little paper clips or pieces of wire or something to hold the brushes back, and this whole starter will assemble a lot easier. So, and there's always some spot to do that with. You can always run the paper clip up, over, and down. Just bend it where you need it. I use paper clips all the time to hold brushes in. Don't try to force all these in one at a time and ram the armature in there, because you won't be able to do it. Just shove them up in there and then just stick a paper clip right in front of them to hold them, and then you can pull the paper clip out. So alright, so now we're just going to get it all cleaned up. I'm going to run the wire wheel in there, get some degreaser here too on the armature. I'm going to clean it up really good, and I can pretty much tell you that this will work. So I know it looks like crap, but I'm not going to buy a $150 starter when I know this will work. It's just magnets and copper. So alright, let's get it cleaned up. Okay, so the inside polished up pretty good. I'm going to get all this little bits and pieces of stuff out of there. That's rust and such. And then I brushed it with a little bit of gas, and seems to got it pretty clean. So now I'm just polishing up the outside. It's only going to take a second to do that, so I'll hit it with the drill real quick, make it look good, and maybe even put a coat of paint on it. But alright, so there's that. Let me finish this up, and then we're just gonna, same thing, just grind away at the armature. I'm not going to use this wire brush for that. I'm going to use one that's a little bit softer, because we don't want to screw this up too much. So we'll just go nice and easy with that. And then the same thing, we can put gasoline on that too. We got a bucket of gas over there from a fuel pump that we swapped out, and the gas was old, so we'll use it for parts cleaner for this starter. Okay, so that's coming to, oh, missed a little spot, coming together pretty good. So let me clear that, and then we'll get on the armature. Okay, so everything cleaned up pretty good. I feel happy with it. Probably could have cleaned that a little bit better, but that's fine. So there's our bolts. Here's the back end piece. We'll put the brushes in now, and losing springs, and reassemble it, and we will have a remanufactured starter, right? Save 150 bucks. So again, let's go ahead and put these brushes in now. I'll show you how to do that. We're going to shove the spring in, push those back, stick a paper clip in there. Actually, I got a few little staples here that'll work just fine. Okay, so now you can see they're all down. The paper clips weren't big enough because these gaps are so huge. Normally you just have little holes, so I just used some brad nails and just pried them apart, each one, and squeezed it in there. So we should be fine with that. And also, I want to let you know, a spring flew out on me and I lost it. Don't know which one it was. Anyway, I just took a pin apart and used one of those springs. It's all it needs. It'll be perfectly fine. So alrighty, let's go ahead and stick this back on the bottom of our case and get our armature in there. Okay, so I pushed her together and I just threaded the bolts in there a little ways. Just make sure that you can get a bolt pretty flat. I mean, this is all the way down, so it don't matter. At this point I can pull the little keepers out for the brushes, but I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up all the way, and then we'll pull them out just to make sure. But I'm sure we got enough gap here that they are closed past the armature, so we should be fine. Okay, so let's get that together. My starter wire here is a little bit loose, so we'll do something with that, some epoxy or something. It was in pretty nasty condition, so I didn't want to pull it off and put it back on, and I thought maybe I would have to solder it if I did that. So, all right, let me get those tightened up. Okay, so we got them all snugged up. At this point, we can go ahead and pull our clips out that we're holding the brushes, and you'll hear them snap into place as they go. And that's it. Other than a super cleaning job, we have a remanufactured starter, which is going to cost you, what, $150 for this one, I believe, and then the core they give you, I don't know, $10 or $20 back. So used to be you could buy brushes and it came with a piece of emery cloth, sandpaper, and you do the same thing that you and I just did. So a little epoxy here and we're good to go. Alrighty, all done. So with a starter like this, where you don't have an accessory wire going to it, this just goes to your positive, and you know that because you took it off. Now the ground will be the chassis or frame ground. So now you can test it. Now this starter didn't work, I already tried it. So the way we're going to test it, here's a battery that's charged. We're just going to ground it out. I hope I can do this with one hand so you can see it. So we're going to ground it out. Maybe I can get it, yeah, probably like that. And then we're just going to touch our hot side and see if the Bendix, this would be the Bendix, it would engage and pop out and then spin. I don't think I have a good enough ground. Either that or I didn't do the starter right. Okay, let's see if we can get it to twist around there. I need 3 hands for this, right? There we go. Bendix kicked out and it spun. That's it. So you now have a remanufactured starter. So I hope this video helped you out. Definitely, this is one of the videos of all the videos that I've showed you how-to tricks. This one here is really going to save you big bucks because armatures, that's all there is to those inside is the armature and the magnets. And they just get dirty and gummed up. A lot of times valve covers leak, manifolds leak, all that grudge, dirt, grease, some oil, some water, whatever, running alongside your engine. You pull the starter off and it's just nasty dirty. Well, it's going to be like that on the inside too, and that armature will get gummed up and so will that magnet. And that's most of the reason, I'd say 90% of the reason why a starter goes out. And so it's simple to fix. It's just like cleaning your dishes at home. A little more complicated than that, but you get the idea. So if you like my video, please click like, please subscribe. Forward it to some of your friends or something, save a few bucks, and check out all my other videos. Just click on my name underneath this video to see my other how-to videos. And that's it. I hope this helped you out. Have a great day.